All right, hi everyone. This is the monthly farmOS development call, where we kind of go over what was done in the previous release and what we're going to be working on next. Probably be a pretty quick call today. I'm pretty tired from some work I was doing earlier. So I'll just kind of go over what came out in farmOS Beta 7, which was just released yesterday. And yeah, talk about the wish list a little bit, and I'll demo some of the things that I was working on. So I'm gonna switch to a screen share. 1 second. That screen share doesn't work on Chrome in Linux, so I have to switch to Firefox. So there's going to be 2 of me on here. All right, that was terrible. So just make sure that won't happen again. All right, let's try this screen share. Okay, great. So here's the agenda for the evening. Okay, so in Beta 7, we had some core and contributed module updates. So Drupal core updated to version 7.41, and we had a number of different contrib modules that were updated as well. So yeah, that's the other nice thing about farmOS is it's built on another open source platform called Drupal. And so there's an entire community around the development of Drupal itself, as well as an entire community developing all kinds of modules to plug into Drupal and work alongside of it. So farmOS is essentially a collection of those modules plus some custom modules that I've built that are more farm specific. So yeah, we had a bunch of updates come out for that. Some of them were security updates, so it would be good to update those as soon as you can. Hello.
Hello, Michael Stanton. This is myself, Rita. So from India.
Hi, great to have you on the call.
Yeah, how are you, my friend?
Good. Things are going good. I was just starting to jump into the agenda and kind of go through what I'm going to be working on.
Okay, yeah. I just recently seen your post. So.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so do you have the agenda, or can you see the agenda on the screen right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't see that. Right now. Yeah, right now I'm able to see the
is
part,
it too small?
Which you shared. Yeah.
Okay. So just to let you know, the way this call usually goes is I'll just kind of walk through what I have been working on recently, and then kind of what is up next, and we can kind of talk about whatever you want, if you have questions or that kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay, great. So in Beta 7, we had some updates to modules that I just went over. The big thing that I did was I created a tour module. So just to show you what that looks like. So now when you open up farmOS, there's a couple of tours that I created to kind of walk you through the system and get you started. So you can check that out if you open that up. I'm getting some feedback in my headphone here, so let me see if I can do that real quick.
It's a lot of mirroring. I think
I think it's me because I have two Hangouts open right now.
Okay, that's okay. Fine.
I'll try closing one. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah, something looks good, but the thing is, it's again mirroring.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think I got it all worked out now.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And now my feedback is gone, so I can do this without being distracted.
Can you please loud your voice?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me. Is that better? Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I got a new laptop recently, and it has like an auto adjusts the microphone, so it seems to want to turn itself down. So let me know if it gets too quiet, and I'll try to adjust it.
Okay, that's okay, fine.
Okay. So yeah, one of the big things that I did this past cycle is farm tour module. This is just kind of my hope here is to just kind of build something to that we can use to build these kind of tours that take you through farmOS. So you can see it opens up and says, "Welcome to farmOS." Your tour will give you a quick overview. You can click next, and it'll kind of walk you through a couple of things. So I started by just creating 3 tours. One is just sort of an overall one that you get to when you come to the main dashboard. The other one is under plantings, to kind of walk through how plantings work and introduce you to some of that stuff. And then the third one is under areas, to show how to work on mapping your farm and that kind of stuff. So I won't go through the tours right now. You can check them out, download, or try it yourself. So yeah, I'll just keep this quick. Another big thing we worked on, so my friend RJ and I got together and did sort of a coding sprint on the farm sensor module, and we created a new submodule of that called farm sensor listener. And what this actually provides is a RESTful endpoint to send data to. So if you have a sensor out in the field, or if you've set up your own sensors, for example, using like a Raspberry Pi or some other off-the-shelf device, you can program it to actually send data to your farmOS, and this listener module will now be able to accept that data, store it in the database, and then from there we can do all kinds of things. So I'll show you just a quick demo of this. I have it set up in this site here.
Okay.
So here, this is a sensor that we set up during our sprint to create something that's working. So it's using a sensor called the Yoctopus, which is an off-the-shelf sensor. Well, you can find more information by looking it up, but it's basically a temperature sensor that you can plug in via USB.
Okay.
So we've got that up and running, and you can see down here, we also wrote some basic views integration so that we can create views of the data. So these are the actual timestamps of data coming in, and data can have a name. So in this case, the name is just value, but you can have as many as you want. So one example of what you would do is if you have one sensor that's sending multiple readings, like temperature and humidity, you could just give each reading a different name. So you could say temperature or humidity, or break it up even more if you have a lot of different things. And then a value. So it's very simple right now. It's basically just a timestamp, a name, and a value. But from this, now that we're storing them in the MySQL database, and we have views integration written for it, we can really start building off of that and pretty easily create things like a graph of this kind of data. So that's sort of the next step is what do we do after that? Another idea, and I think we actually have.
Michael, you mean that you are going to installing a device in a forms, right?
That's right. Yeah. So this gives you the option if you want to set up, or if you have sensors set up, you can do it yourself. You can kind of build these little temperature sensors or soil sensors and deploy them at your farm and have that data coming into farmOS so that you have a central place to view it from. So actually, what we did was, and if RJ was able to join the call, he could give a better demo of this. But RJ is working on this project called Open Pipe Kit, and Open Pipe Kit is basically a set of tools to make it as easy as possible to set up little sensors like that. So it has this kind of configurator that says, okay, what sensor are you using? So you kind of choose from the list of sensors that they have on here. A lot of things are for Raspberry Pis or Arduinos. So you select the sensor. You can kind of configure it what you want it to do. But then now see what we did together was we built. Well, RJ did this part. Built a farmOS driver for Open Pipe Kit. So now you can actually type in the URL and the public and private key of your sensor, and it will automatically set up your Raspberry Pi to stream data directly to your farmOS.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we got now. And one of the other things we're gonna do next, which will be pretty easy right now that we've got data coming in, is basically just an alert function in the farm sensor module, so that you could configure some kind of alert that says, if the temperature in my greenhouse goes above 100 degrees or something, if it's getting too hot or if it's getting too cold somewhere, you can set up an alert of some kind so that it'll send you an email or whatever you need to.
That's a very good feature. I didn't find anywhere this kind of feature.
Yeah, this is, I think, a lot of people are working on these kind of open source sensor software and hardware. So I think it's a really exciting time because a lot of this stuff is available now. And there are a lot of other places where you can kind of push the data to. One is, I think, Fant. So Fant is a software for accepting data, data
from the devices.
I don't have as much experience with this as RJ does. So if you're really interested in the sensor stuff, you should definitely check out the Open Pipe Kit calls. They do. I think they have a weekly call where they just kind of work on things together. Okay, so that would be a great place to learn more about that. Yeah, so I'm excited to have a sensor module in farmOS, because essentially what you can do is you can treat your sensors as assets. So you can actually move them around in your farmOS. You can move them to different areas. You can record activities and observations with them alongside the sensor data that's streaming in. So I think we're kind of laying the building blocks right now to make something really powerful that you can customize a lot and make it do all kinds of things. One thing we might use to do the alert function is the Drupal rules module. We're not actually using rules yet in farmOS because mainly we've been just building the data architecture, but really this is going to come pretty soon. And the rules module gives you the ability to set up all kinds of triggers and events and reactions to those events. So you can say, when this happens, do this. And it has a whole library of things that you can do. a simple one is to send an email or something like that. But you can have it create observations. So I could say, like, if a sensor value comes in that is less than 10, create an observation. And then send me an email or something like that. So I think it'll be very customizable once we have the tools in place.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see what else. So another thing. This is sort of a small one, but it's something I've been meaning to do for a while. So I added some basic text formatting on description and note fields. So what this essentially means is, now if I come into farmOS and I'll add an activity.
Okay.
So let's see, planted corn. Oh, actually, wait, I need to add more than one activity because I want to demonstrate something.
Okay.
Okay, so now I just added an activity. It's under my activities here, planted corn. And so I can actually see that the ID of that activity up in the URL here is 1. So it's log 1 essentially, because it's the first one in this system. Now we'll need a way of like displaying that somewhere better here. Right now it's just up in the URL, but essentially what I want to demonstrate is that now I can go to add an activity again. I can say, second activity. And so in the notes field down here, I've added some input filters. So now you can reference logs typing something like that, log:1 in square brackets. And then if I save that and actually go to that activity, let's see, second activity. So it'll actually format it here as a link. So it'll say log:1, and it'll actually pull up the name of the log, planted corn, and format it as a link. Pretty simple, but it's something that will be useful when you're entering a lot of records in your system, and sometimes you need to reference old records. So the other things that kind of come with this text formatting is links will automatically, URLs will automatically change. Okay. That'll be a link. These are some basic things that exist in Drupal. We just didn't have them enabled in farmOS yet. So now we do.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. The beta 7 was just another iterative release with a couple of. I mean, some of these took a while to put together, but overall, it was a pretty small release.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm not sure if you're familiar, but the way that I'm kind of going about this is sort of aiming for a monthly release in farmOS. So last month I did beta 6. The month before was beta 5. And so next month will be beta 8. Okay. And this is all being done in my free time right now. So whatever I can get done, I get done. And if other people join in, then we get more done. We did have some help this past time. A new contributor named Ethan has started.
Yeah, definitely. I would be the part of this open source distribution. So I'm very much interested. That's the reason I just logged in.
Oh, great! So, yeah, cool. Yeah,
yeah,
we'd love to have your help. And yeah, I mean, this is it's an open source project, so anyone's allowed to join in.
Correct. Yeah.
And so I do all the task management and bug reports and feature requests and roadmaps in Drupal.org because farmOS is built on Drupal. So Drupal.org has a really nice system for managing those kind of things.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Drupal at all, or what's your background?
Yeah, I'm a basically Java developer, so I'm interested in open source frameworks. So I started learning PHP recently, so past 6 months. So I started Drupal also.
Okay.
Yeah, so much nice from your and Michael.
Sorry, I missed that last part. I think my audio cut out.
Is it okay? It's fine, right?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yep.
Yeah. I'm just basically Java developer. So I recently 6 months back I started learning PHP. So I could find a lot of open sources in market for the different domain. So yeah, recently I have seen updates from you guys. Providing for the platform for the farmers and like farmOS. So even I'm so much interested in open source distribution. So even I've seen the features of this application. So get excited. So that's why I want to be a part of this distribution.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to have you join the call here.
Yeah, yeah. That's how maybe it is a next world level leading open source software. I hope so.
Yeah. Cool.
I want to be the major part of that. That's the reason I just joined today.
Okay. Great.
It's great to meet you, even participate in the call.
Yeah. No, this is wonderful. And yeah, I mean that's the purpose of this call, is to try to get create a space for people to come and talk.
Yeah, I'm feeling proud to be a part of this. So thanks for.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe what I'll do is just show the beta 8 plan a little bit, and then if you have any other questions, we can talk. But I think it might be a pretty short call today, because it was a pretty short release.
Yeah, that's so. Can you just tell me? Is it right time to talk to you regarding my questions, or offline we can go for the questions?
Yeah, sure. Wait, to talk about what?
Okay. So, what is the biggest reason choosing this technology for implementing for this platform?
Do you mean Drupal specifically?
Yeah, Drupal. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess the main reason is that I'm a Drupal developer. I've been working with Drupal for a number of years now. I guess probably around like 7 or 8 years. And so my background is in website development and web application development. And so I've come to really like Drupal for its flexibility, and also for its very developer friendly community. So the community of Drupal provides a lot. There's a lot of contributed modules available, and it's very developer focused. So there's a lot of tools that make workflow and building sites easier and easier to maintain.
Okay.
So that's I guess the primary answer to that question.
Yeah, that's okay. But recently, see a lot of other technologies like AngularJS and Node.js, a lot of other technologies maybe now in a lot of buzz in development. So, which is providing single page application, which is very much popular than this kind of. So that's the reason. So I just wanted to know the difference between that and this. Because choosing technology for a particular platform, so very crucial.
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, in terms of both those two examples you mentioned, Node.js and AngularJS, those can both work with Drupal. It's not something that, it's not an either or choice. There's a lot of applications that use Drupal as a backend and Angular as a front end for the user interface. And for Node.js, Node.js sort of does share some of the purpose, I guess, of Drupal as a backend system, as a server side that's running on the server. But you can also, I've used Drupal and Node.js together to create more responsive, not responsive in sense of device size, but being able to offload some tasks from Drupal into Node.js has benefited me in the past. We're not doing that right now with farmOS at all. Right now, everything is pretty much core Drupal, and I've said this in the past, but just to reiterate, I have not been focusing very strongly on the user interface side or the front end side of farmOS as much as I have been in designing the data architecture and the relationships of all of the entities in the system to make sure that we can build all of the things that that we'll want to build moving forward. But my vision is that we will build much better user interface on top of this Drupal system using probably something like AngularJS, or what's the other? There's another big one. Not Bootstrap. I keep wanting to say Bootstrap, but it's that's what we're using as the theme. Anyways, yeah. So you know, farmOS started as a Drupal platform, and that's kind of where we're going with it. But it doesn't exclude the possibility of also working with technologies like Node.js and Angular.
Yeah, because we need to adapt the brand new technologies. We need to take the advantage of the brand new technologies, which we can easy for implementing any new functionality in the domain or all in future. That's the reason I'm just stating this statement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to, if you have specific ideas in mind of like what would be better suited to be used in Angular or in Node.js, that we should definitely discuss those, you know, in more detail.
Yes, sure. I have another question in application. Can you just open farmOS?
Yep. This is just a test site.
Yeah, just click on areas.
Yep.
So I just want to certain area. So I tried yesterday, but a couple of times not able to capture the particular area.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to just kind of walk through how to create an area?
Yeah, at least you can give us some demo regarding some menus and items so that I can test. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So right now in this test site, I just have one area called test, and it's literally this big this big thing here.
Okay.
So let me actually delete that one first so that we've got a clean slate, and then I will just show you how to create an area really quick. Okay, so from the areas page, you'd start by clicking add an area. So an area really only needs to have a name. You don't have to map it, and you don't have to define its type. The name is really the most important part, and the reason for that is so that you can easily, for example, say I am creating a planting. I'll just create one really quick. So this is maybe 2015 cabbage crop. Okay. In this current location field, I can define an area on the fly by just typing in any name I want. So I can say, likewise with the crop, I can define any crop I want. So I'll say cabbage here. And now I'll save that. And in the background, that's actually creating, not only is that creating the planting, it's creating the cabbage crop and the location, the north field. So I'll click on north field now, and this will actually take me to that area. But it doesn't have a map yet because all I've done is define the name of it. It doesn't have a map yet. But just to show you, I'm going to go back to the areas tab. Okay. And you can see that's there now, north field.
Okay. You mean you mean that it should take to the map for a particular location if found in a map, right?
Say again?
No. When you're creating the location in that field, so when I click of this, it should take to the Google map, the particular place of the on Google, right?
That's right. So now I'll show you how to define that so that you can see it on the map. So
Okay.
I'll click on North Field,
Mm-hmm.
and then up here I'll click the Edit tab.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this is the form for editing an area. So you can give it a description.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so an important thing here is the area type. If you don't give it a type, it's not going to show up on the main map.
Okay.
You can still map it in here. You can define the geometry of it, but it will only show up on the main map if you put in an area type. And that's how it determines what color to show it on the map, as well as some other things.
Okay.
So I'll just say a field. I'll say this is a field. And then I'm just going to zoom in on a random spot. Okay, so let's do this field right here.
Okay.
So down below the map, there's two important drop downs. One of them is type of interaction, and that's either draw or modify. So draw is when you want to draw new shapes, and modify is to change existing shapes. So I'll leave it on draw. And then geometry type, you can draw a point, you can draw a line, or you can draw a polygon. So I'm going to draw a polygon here. And then you basically just click on the map where you want to outline. So I'm going to just kind of outline this field like this.
Okay.
And then, so now that shape is stored in the map. And then I'll come down here and click Save. And go back to the areas page. And now it shows my area. Now that's the only area that's displayed, but if I want to add another one, I'll click Add Area. And for this one, I'm actually going to, what I'll do is zoom in on this house here.
Okay.
This is going to be a building, so I'll call this house. And I'll change the area type to building. And, oops, got to change it to polygon. And I'll just do a quick outline here. So save that. So now that brings me back to the main map. You can see my big area, and then you see this little red area down here is the building.
Okay, that's awesome. So within area also I can mark my own sub areas, something like that, right?
Oh, so do you mean like having areas within areas?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So here, what I'll do here is I'll add another area. I'll say bed 1. And for this, I'll actually change the area type to bed.
Okay.
And then change this to polygon. So now what I'll do is just kind of draw, we'll pretend that this is a bed in the system. So I'll save that.
Yeah.
So now I've got my big field, my little building down there, and my bed. Right now, it's still just 3 flat areas, though. They're not really related at all. So if you look over here on this side, this says this shows you the hierarchy. So right now they're all on the same level. But if I want to change that, I just click Change. And over here, I can say, okay, well, North Field, this is kind of the main thing. So I'm going to put that on top. And bed 1 is inside the North Field. So I'm just going to drag that over. And I'll drag the house over too, because that's kind of also in the North Field.
Oh, that's okay. It's
So
fine. Pretty cool option. So
there you go. Now you've got the North Field, and under that are your bed and house. And so just to show you something that has a lot more areas, here's one that I have set up that has this purple outline is like a property. Then it's got a couple of fields, a couple of buildings, and some beds and paddocks. And this is what the hierarchy looks like. So you can do all kinds of stuff. You can arrange it however you want and add as many areas as you want. And the nice thing that that I kind of showed before is that you don't have to. You can map all your areas at the beginning if you want, so that you have them all set up. But you don't have to do that. You could just start using farmOS for record keeping. So I could open this up on my phone, for example. So here, I'll just pretend I'm on my phone. Go like this.
Yeah. Oh, even. Oh.
Yeah. So this is all built. This is all built with the Bootstrap framework. So it's made to work on a mobile device, and I use this every day on my phone for things like recording eggs for my chickens and or just observations while I'm out in the field. So yeah, let's just pretend I'm making an observation right now. So I'm on my phone, I'm out in the field. I can do a number of different things, but first what I'll do is I'll come in and just click on North Field. So this will actually take me to the North Field area in the system. So now I'm focused only on that. And you can see also too here, this will show you all of the plantings that are in that area. So
Okay.
this is a page that's just for this one area. So you know, it says North Field up on top. The breadcrumb is farm, areas, North Field. Anyway, scrolling down, so you see the map. Then below, you see all kinds of things about that area. So you'll see the plantings that are in that area, animals, if you have any, equipment, and then some other logs. So if you have activities that are related to that area, inputs, observations. And then this one down here is sort of a special one. This is a history of all assets that have ever been in the area. So this is useful for like organic certification in the United States, to be able to basically describe to your certifier who's someone that needs to, you know, confirm and view your log records for you to confirm that you're abiding by the rules of organic certification. They can come in and see everything that you've ever had in this field. They can see that you had a tractor there, you had, you know, your chickens came through, you had whatever. So that's what that's for. But I'm getting a little off track here. So originally I was going to say, okay, pretend I'm out in the North Field and I just want to make an observation. So I would click on that and then I would click add an observation. And I can say, okay, needs water. So I want to remember that it needs water. So I'll just save that. And so now you'll see that down here in the observations for that field.
So yeah, Michael, in this situation, like you put your observation. So if I assign some worker for a particular field, so immediately that guy will notify this information. He's the guy working at a field right now. So I'm like a manager or my landlord, so that I could observe something and I just notified. I just taken my observation. So
so this maybe I can answer your question. I think I know what you're asking, but we have, and this is back in beta 6, we added 3 different types of roles to the system. So in Drupal, you can have users who have login accounts. So this is the list of people basically on the farm. And then you can also have roles. So roles allow you to define different permissions for each user, or for each role, I should say. And then you can assign those roles to different users. So we actually have 3 different roles available now in farmOS. So if I go and click add a user, I can say, okay, this is the worker, just a example. You give him a so that he can log in, password. But then down here, you can give him a role. So you can say this guy is a farm manager. That gives him all the access to the system. So you can come in, he can do whatever he wants. Then there's also farm worker. Farm worker has a lot of the same permissions as farm manager, so they can come in and they can record logs, they can view things, but they can't change some configuration. So maybe I would give him that role. A third role that we have is farm viewer. So farm viewer gives you the ability to let people come in and see your farm without touching anything, without editing it. So for example, going back to the organic certification system, you could potentially create a user account for your organic certifier so that they can log into your site and view your records without having to come to the farm, so that they can check up to see what you're doing and make sure that you're following the rules, kind of.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's okay. But just create right now for you can. I just wanted to see this observation should be notified to this worker. So if you create this one.
Oh, okay. So
if I log in as an observer, sorry, if I log in as a worker, so I should see the observation from my landlord. So that's how the system play around the different players, right?
Okay, so do you mean you want to be able to like send an email or something?
Just create one worker for this land, so that whatever you made a changes or any notification, it should go to that particular worker. So that's how worker will start working on it, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's a great idea. farmOS does not do that yet.
Instead of making calls, mails, so it is a systematic way to routing some works or some assignment.
Yeah, that's exactly that would be a great way to do it. And we actually have a so let me see if I can find this.
We should provide everything systematic manner. We should not do manual process. System has to be capture all the things.
Maybe it's under farmOS. Well, basically, we have a feature request already for the concept of task assignment, so that you can assign tasks to certain people, and those people would be notified of the task that they need to do, so that they can then have their own to-do list, essentially. So you can kind of create, so just to go back, if I go back to the dashboard here, and I'll add an activity that says, water North Field. And we need to do that in the future. So I'm going to say, do that on November 10th. And, it's related to North Field, so I'll say that. But then I'm going to say it's not done yet, so I'll uncheck that. Save the log. So now that activity will actually appear in your plan on the dashboard. And it says that it's because it's not done. So you can see here the checkbox done is not checked. But if I click on it, then I can mark it as done. So if I just click done here, then that's marked as done. Now if I go to the activities, I can see here's Water North Field, and it's done. So the next step is to add, when you're creating an activity, is to add a field on here that says who should this activity be assigned to, and let you select one of the users in your system.
Correct.
And then from there, we could easily build, just like we have a plan on the dashboard that shows everything. Right now, it just shows everything, but we could have plans for each user. So if you log in, you could say view my plan, and in my plan, it would show me only the tasks that are assigned to me. So that wouldn't be too hard to do. If you wanna try jumping on that task, that might be a good first thing to try to build.
Sure, why not? I'll be do that. So the thing is, here when we are going to create a users with a different roles, right?
Yep.
So each user should be notified about this field, right? So let's suppose I'm a landlord.
Okay.
Correct? So I just created 5 hectares of land, let's suppose.
Okay.
So I just recruited one manager or 4 or 5 daily wage guys, something like that.
Okay.
Correct. So that I registered the guys so that everybody got access right now.
Okay. Yep.
So if something I create something I plan, so this base should be notified, right?
Right. So if you add an activity and you assign it to him, you want him to be notified, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's something that we could use the rules module for, which I showed before. So essentially what you would do is you would install this module, you would create a new rule, and the rule would say when an activity is created, if that activity has a person that it's assigned to. So it would look at the field on the activity that says this is assigned to this person. Then it would say, okay, if you're creating an activity and it's assigned to someone, send them an email. And then you could customize the email in that rule too. I don't have rules installed right now. Otherwise, I could kind of give you a demonstration of that. But it's actually really easy to use, and you can do it all through the user interface. You don't have to write any code. So that's actually another benefit of building farmOS in Drupal, is that you can do a lot in Drupal without writing any code. Which is good for a lot of people. I'm a developer, so I prefer to work with code, but not everyone's a developer, and this system. I want lots of people to be able to build with this system, and that's something that Drupal provides, because it gives you easy ways to build things without writing too much code. So just to give you an example, since you're new to Drupal. Let me just show you how farm assets are defined. So if you come into the configuration, you'll see this link, farm asset types. So right now we have 3 different types. We have plantings, we have equipment, and we have animals. So I'm going to go into an animal right now, and I'm going to click Manage Fields. So these are all the fields that we have on an animal right now. We have name, nicknames. You can put them in a certain group. You can define ID tags for them. You can give them a type. You can say whether they're male or female, date of birth, parents, description, photos, and files. So just to show you what that looks like, if I go over to animals and click add an animal, you'll see the actual form. Here's name, nicknames, group, ID tags, type, male, female. All of this stuff can be edited without writing any code. So I can add a new field right here that says, let's see, owner. I'll say, who's the owner of this animal? I can select from a different, what type of field should this be? So for this, I'll just say it's a text field. I'll create that. I'm just going to do all the defaults for now. So now I'll move this field up to the top, so it's right under name. I'll click Save. I'll come over here to the animal field. So now, when I'm creating an animal, I've got my name, and now I've got my owner. So this is a new field that I just added. So I can say, Bob owns this cow. Additionally, and this is where it gets really fun, we're getting a little bit deep into Drupal here. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, let me look into. So I just started 2-3 days back, just yesterday, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll show you a very powerful module that I like a lot, and that almost everyone in Drupal uses to generate lists of things, is a module called views. So I'm going to open up the views configuration. So before I do that, though, I'm gonna create this animal. So I'm gonna say cow1, and this is a cow, and it's a female, and I'll just save that. That's good enough for now. But then I'm just gonna add another one, so we have 2, just to show you. So cow2, I'll say Sally is the owner. And this is also a cow, and it's a female. Okay, so now this is my list of animals right here. I've got cow 1 and cow 2, and this is up from the animals tab. So you can see this is a list that has a couple of columns. It's got name, sex, birth date, type, group, ID tags, and location. But it doesn't have owner, which is the new field that I just added. So if I want that to show up, if I want to add that, what I would do is I would use views. So views is a module that gives you an interface into the database. So you can create all kinds of lists of entities and content using views. You can display them as a table, like I'm doing here. You can display them as a grid. You can display them as just an unformatted list and then style it with CSS or JavaScript, however you want. There's a lot of options. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to edit this view. So I'm looking at this animal list. I'm going to go up here and click Edit View. This is the views configuration for that animal list. So you can see I've got fields. These are the fields that are going to be displayed as columns. So I've got my photos, name, sex, birth date. But what I want is my owner field now. So I'm just going to, remember, I just created this owner field. It didn't exist before we started this. So there's the owner field. I'll add that to the view. And then I'm going to rearrange it so that it's up next to the name, just like in my form. I'll save that. I'll come back to my animal list. And, oops, that almost worked. It says 1. It doesn't say Sally.
We need to change that. Instead of owner 1, we need to change the name of him, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. I might have selected the wrong thing, but I'm just kind of trying to demonstrate, anyways, what.
Yeah, that's okay. We should give the link to owner link. If we click on owner link, it should go to owner profile or something like that.
Right, right. So that's a great idea. So what you could do.
That's how we can see his profile.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I'm not going to build that right now because it will take a little bit of kind of clicking around, and it's almost 8 o'clock already.
Okay.
But yeah, I just kind of wanted to demonstrate sort of how I think that kind of serves to illustrate a little bit of why I use Drupal also, because it does provide power to non-programmers as well, and the farmer community has a lot of do-it-yourself hobbyist kind of types that do build these kind of things themselves, and I don't want to limit to just developers in this system. Okay. Now there are some limitations to that. Making these kind of modifications, like adding that owner field, changing this view to add the owner field and stuff like that, that does kind of create a fork of farmOS. It sort of means that when you make those modifications to your farmOS system, you no longer have the default farmOS, and that's good. That's powerful. It means that you can kind of customize it and create what you want. But it also means that you have to be careful, because if you make changes, it could make it harder for you to upgrade to the next version of farmOS. Because if your changes conflict with the new version, then you're going to hit some problems. So there's a lot of power here, but there's also some responsibility that if you are changing those things, it's good to know how to merge your changes together. So in those cases, it does help to be a Drupal developer. It does help to kind of understand how these things are related in the database and how they work. But again, I think there's a lot of different audiences for farmOS. There's people who will just be using it without making any changes, and that will probably be the bulk of people. So they don't have to worry about that. And then there'll be people who want to experiment and try new things.
Yeah, we'll look into that based on use case, so that so we'll implement or we'll think about it later.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just kind of giving information so that I could find user registration. So mail is not sending. You are connected to me?
I'm sorry. I think I didn't hear that. Could you say that
No,
again?
no, no. When I'm trying to register new user, so mail is not sending. So where is the mail configuration which we have done in this application?
Oh, did you tried installing farmOS and the email wasn't working?
Mail setup is not working. I installed in my local machine.
Okay.
So when I'm trying to register new user, so it's not sending a mails to user. So there is no authentication from user. So I'm
Okay.
directly using username and password. I just log in as a user. So
Okay.
mail.
So when you went in and said add user, right, and you filled out this, did you click this button here, notify user of new account?
Yeah, I done it, but my email
Okay.
is not sending from my end.
Okay, so there's a lot of reasons why that might happen. A lot of that is more on the Drupal and PHP side than farmOS itself, because all of this all of this user management is just core Drupal. farmOS doesn't actually add any of this. We're just using it.
Mhm.
So I would, there's probably, if I had to take a guess, I would say that either your local, there's something wrong with maybe your local mail,
So
or it's ending up in a spam filter. There's a lot of different possibilities, and um,
yeah,
uh,
because is there any specific configuration I have to do from my local or nothing to? Because I given Gmail as a from address, correct?
okay.
It could take from that mail and it should send from address and to the particular user to address, right?
Yeah, so you know what I would, so email, I mean, if you're familiar, if you do a lot of web development, you know that like sometimes email behaves and sometimes there's just bugs under the Drupal or under PHP in the subsystem that you have to figure out. So I don't think we can. There's not really any configuration to answer your question. There's not really any configuration that you need to do in Drupal to make it work, but you do need to make sure that your web server is set up to send mail. So if you're using postfix
Mm-hmm.
or send mail or whatever, or if you're using a relay like there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of possible causes for issues like that. I would recommend downloading the devel module for Drupal. I mean, this is I don't know how deep you want to look, but you do kind of need to get email working. The devel module gives you a bunch of tools for debugging things. So let me just show you here. Maybe what I would do if I were you is I would install the devel module, and then I would go to your local URL. So this is a local URL that I have set up on my site for development.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add /devel/php to the end of that. And sorry, this is taking a little while to load. I think it's because I'm on my local. My computer is a little slow right now. But once this loads up, you can, I don't know why it's taking so long. Anyways, this would give you the ability to test. For example, you could just use the PHP and see if that works. So if this works, but
Mm-hmm.
Drupal mail doesn't work, then it's like an issue with Drupal. If this doesn't work, it's an issue with PHP, and you can kind of go back and forth. Just typical debugging. You kind of just got to understand the layers and figure out where the issue is.
Yeah, even
So
yesterday I tried. Yeah, yesterday I tried installing my local machine Apache.
okay.
So it is not allowing to access. So can I share my screen right now?
Sure.
I tried, but even it's not saying like what say, forgot user, something like that. It's not sharing. So are you able to see my screen?
Yeah. Yep. Let me just.
This
Yes,
is
I
the
can see
one.
it.
This is the one which I tried. So the
Okay.
my username, something like that. Okay, then my password, admin 123 like that. If you something went wrong, correct, it should show um, forgot password. These options not available.
Ah. Okay. So yeah, go up to your go up to the URL. Yeah, and so okay, so you have it installed at localhost/farmOS, correct? So do localhost/farmOS/user/password.
Okay. Yeah, instead of we have to give some links. That is the best way.
Yeah, there isn't a link. Yeah, so now this is a form to let you request a new password.
New password. So
So you can
wait,
just type in your email address and try that and see if it sends you a password. If it doesn't, then it's an email issue.
it's not coming. Mail is not working on my end. That's why I'm saying mail is not working. So I think
Do
where we need to set up or anywhere else. I think I missed out something.
well, have you ever? Do you have any other PHP applications that are running on your local host that do send mail that work?
Yeah, maybe.
So
So,
I would test some other things first to so that you can kind of try to
yeah, I
isolate the
have other
problem.
couple of yeah, I have a see even Drupal also is working. Some other couple of applications are available in my local.
Okay.
So I could not stop them, right? See,
Yeah, so you could test those to see if you get email from those.
correct. But I used a different way for a PHP mailer. There is another framework
Okay.
for sending mail. That is different. But anyhow, it should work from our farmOS end, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think if it works
Yeah.
for other, you could also try just a normal Drupal without farmOS.
Yeah,
I
one second. Yeah, I have a normal Drupal in my local.
Okay.
So,
Does email work on that one?
yeah, this is the one Drupal. So which I can try. Yeah, this is already logged in.
Okay.
So I'm creating new user. That's how user one, user two. Let's suppose I'm just creating a brand new user like so something like that. So, so user email should be a unique always. Same user cannot be for uh,
Right. Yeah, you can only use the
multiple roles.
email once.
Michael, am I correct?
Sorry, I didn't. What did you say?
No. One user can be a multiple roles.
Yeah. Yep. One user can have multiple roles. Yes.
Correct. But I wanted to be registered with the same username, same email ID. Is that possible?
No. Each user has to have a unique username and email address
Mm-hmm.
in Drupal. So if you create two users, they have to have different email addresses.
Okay. So email has been sent. It is saying that let me try with that user whether I got a mail or not. So I'm just trying this. Because this is a very crucial part for the new users. We should
Oh
not,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we should not show to the end users internal details, right? Let them access from their email. Correct?
Right, right. Yeah, and I'm using farmOS and sending those emails quite frequently, so I know that it does work. And it's probably, in your case, it's probably a configuration
See,
issue under, not in Drupal maybe, but
still,
in.
see, still nothing. There is no mail from local
Right.
or
Yeah.
inbox. I didn't not able to see, or spam. I didn't see anything.
Yeah. So it seems
From
like there's some issue in your local host server.
yeah, that's how.
I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if I can help debug that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe do you ever use IRC, the chat?
No, I didn't use anything.
Okay, we have so here I'll show you on my screen.
Okay, I'm
Um,
stop sharing.
yeah, so we have a chat room for farmOS in IRC. So IRC stands for Internet Relay Chat. It's sort of a common way to get into shared chat rooms. So if you want to come in here, maybe tomorrow or something during the day, I'm usually in this room, and I'd be happy to help you kind of try to figure out your email problems at that point.
Yeah, sure. Daily I'll be in touch with you, so touch base, so that we can communicate, so that we can share more ideas and work also.
Yeah, that would be great. This chat is great for that.
Can you just share me the link?
Yeah, so so IRC kind of works.
It's not working. Yesterday I tried in farmOS org. It's not working. The IRC it's not working for me. I tried yesterday clicking on that. I don't
this site here.
Okay, 1 second. You just sent to me?
Oh no, I didn't send. So IRC, this is you'll have to download a client. If you just type in IRC into Google, you'll see like Internet Relay Chat, and you can kind of follow the instructions for how to get set up on that.
Oh.
But the and then if you go to farmos.org, this will show you kind of where. This will show you the link. So if you go to farmos.org, down at the bottom here, it says, join in the discussion in our farmOS IRC chat room. And there's a link there, so you can click on that.
Oh, okay. IRC. So, okay, I need to install this one, right?
I use a software called Pigeon. It's Pigeon Instant Messenger. I think that works on Linux, Windows, and Mac. So no matter what you have, I think it'll work.
It's the web interface, right? Okay, that's okay, fine. Another thing I could find, where can I see the logs? Something went wrong, something happening. As a developer, I just wanted to monitorize.
Okay, yeah, so get back to, where was I? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so Drupal, so there's a couple of places where you can go to logs. In Drupal, if you go to reports, and then recent log messages right here, this will show you anything that's in the Drupal log, not the PHP log, but the Drupal log. Some things from PHP come here, but if you have like a fatal error or something, Drupal won't catch that, and so you have to look at your Apache logs for that. But between if you use both your Apache logs and this Drupal log, that should give you everything you need.
Yeah, then we can can we configure like a local machine or some local folder instead of showing on a screen?
Say that again?
No. If I configure local folder, will it log these messages?
So Drupal has Drupal how you want your log, where you want your log to go.
Because going for a lot of modules, a lot of work. So I could not see everything in web interface. Correct?
Yeah. So if you download Drupal, there's sort of two modules that come with Drupal. One is called database logging, and the other one is called syslog. Okay. So database logging will log Drupal logs to the database, and it will show you in this recent log messages. So this is from that database log, recent log messages, and it saves it to a table in the database. If you don't want to do that, and you instead want it to go to syslog, you can use the syslog module. So those are two that come with Drupal. There might be other ones that you can use to send it to a specific file if you wanted. I've never tried that though, so you would have to research that. I'm not sure, but I know that Drupal by itself comes with database logging and syslog, so you can log to your syslog.
So I need to download that one, and I need to configure as a local folder, right?
Well, so no, neither of these. You don't have to download either of these. They both come with Drupal, database logging and syslog. Syslog will, I think, log directly to var/syslog. So that's on a Linux system. That's just a log that exists that you can tell Drupal to log to. I don't know if you want to do that necessarily. There might be other modules for letting you log to a different folder or something. But maybe I'm confused. I don't know if does that make sense, or am I misunderstanding your question?
Yeah. So how can we meet daily base or something like that to get touch base with you? So is there any plan for
how to get in touch with me, you said?
Yeah, regarding this development and distribution, so that
yeah, sure.
So this is a monthly,
so if you go
just for reviewing. So for development purpose.
Yeah, so if you go to farmOS.org, you'll see under the download link a link to the Drupal distribution. Yeah. And this will take you to the Drupal page. And this is where I do a lot of the task management. So if you look over here on the side, it'll show you all issues. And I can click this to open up or to view the issues in the log. So these are like, feature requests, bug reports, tasks, and you can create new ones. So if you find a bug, or if you have an idea for a feature request, you can come in and say, create. You could create. And then you set a category, so that's a feature request, version, that kind of thing. And then you can just describe it here, and then I'll get an email about that, and we can kind of use this to communicate. Okay. So that's a great way to do it. Just to show you too, I'm also using that for, well here, so I'll just click on this one. This is one that I'm working on. Oh no, not that one, sorry. Yeah, so you can see there's a whole comment thread with each issue so that other people can join in. So you can see with this one, there's 3 different people talking about this issue. So it's a great way to organize all of our tasks and also make them public so that everyone else can join in too and take part in the process. So
no need to work on coding side. You mean that all about configuration for this platform, correct?
I didn't understand.
No. It means that, so if I wanna customize something somewhere else.
Yep.
So all about we need to configurations. There is no coding part at all.
Oh no, you can do code if you want. You can. So there's 2 ways. You can either kind of configure it in the user interface, like I was showing you, and then from there you can actually export those changes to code yourself. So we're using a module for Drupal called Features, and what Features does is it lets you package up the configuration that you created in the user interface, and then export that, and it will actually build a module for you. So it'll dump all of the configuration that you have into code and give you a module that you can download. So that's what we're using for most of the features in farmOS. So these are all different modules that are part of farmOS. Like here's the farm equipment module, farm livestock for animals and that kind of thing. So see how this one says overridden on it?
Mm-hmm.
That means that I created this module and it has configuration in it, but then I went into the user interface and I changed that configuration. So now my farmOS configuration is different than the configuration that's defined in the module. So it's overridden instead of default. So these ones say default, meaning this is the configuration I'm using is the same as in the module, but in this one it's overridden. And I can actually click on that and it will tell me exactly what is overridden in code. So here, this is a perfect example. See how this says field owner? This is telling me that I added field owner in my system, but it's not in the module yet. So these are all the changes that are related to that field owner. And now what I can do is up here, go to recreate on this tab, and I can download this feature again, and it will package in the new field owner that I created. So this will actually, if I click download, it will give me a copy of the module with the new configuration. And then, so we use, are you familiar with source control? GIT, like GitHub. So Git is it's Git. Git is a source control, a source code management system, so that you can kind of keep track of changes to code. So all Drupal projects use Git. So I'll just go to, just to show you, project/farm. This is the farmOS one. So what I can do is over here, go to Browse Code Repository, and this will actually show me all of the history of changes that have happened to this code that's stored in Git. So I'll click on Log. And here's like all the changes. You can see I'm the author on on all of them because I'm the main one working on it. But you can see when, so you can see this is the beta 7 release right here. Down here is the beta 6. Here's the beta 5. So for each of the modules, you can make changes to them and then contribute them back, and it'll end up as a history in here with your name as the author. And you know that takes some. If you've never used Git before, it takes some learning to do. But I would be happy to kind of help you get set up with that if you want.
Yeah, sure. So that we can maybe not today. So maybe next day, tomorrow, or something like that. So we can set up everything in my local machine. Just, so that I can start whatever I can contribute, or I can learn the framework and I can learn this platform. That's the best way. So that let me understand all the architecture of this application, right? So this platform.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good to go then, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Instead of directly jumping into coding and enhancements, so first let me learn the platform, the basic all features.
Wait, say that again. The platform?
No. Platform is this OS. farmOS is a platform, right?
Yeah. That's great.
That's good to go then, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Instead of directly jumping into coding and enhancements, so first let me learn the platform, the basic all features.
Wait, say that again. The platform?
No. Platform is this OS. farmOS is a platform, right? For us, it's a product. For public, it's a platform.
Sorry, I think I lost you for a second. The internet got slow. Can you repeat that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm able to listen to you. What about me? So am I audible?
Yep. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Yo, I mean that, so it's a product for us, but for public, it's a platform, right?
A flat form?
Yeah, platform.
So do you mean like, I don't know what you mean by flat form.
No. Platform means we are going to give up biggest infrastructure for the farmers and other users, right? So different players. I'm just telling as a platform. It does mean or not.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, that's okay. No issues. So we'll touch base. So how can we touch every day or some days? What is the way to by mail or something or how?
Yeah, you can either, so the easiest way is to go to Drupal.org or go to farmOS.org, and then you can find the Drupal link to there and create issues in the Drupal issue queue. So I'll show you that again.
That's okay. I just tried using IRC, but it's not. Can I share my screen? I just tried.
We can use
chatting.
IRC chat too. Also, if you want to email me, go to farmier.com and
Okay. I need to register here.
contact there. What's
Okay,
that?
maybe I have to join. Okay. From here.
Oh, well, no, you don't have to join. I just meant if you go to farmier.com, there's a contact form, so you can use this to send me an email if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna give my email out on this video because we're recording, and I just don't want to get a lot of spam. But you can use this to contact me, and then I'll respond to you.
Okay, then I'll send out a mail from me so that you can create username and password so that we can touch base, right?
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so that so right away I'm doing. So please.
All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up this call because it's getting late here and I haven't had dinner yet.
Yep. We can.
But this
close
was
up
great.